Hey everybody! We are going to make this beautiful, cool blue mixed media card today. I'm starting with a piece of watercolor paper, and I'm going to mask off a 1-inch section of that with some Post-it tape to create a flat area for my stamped greeting, which is going to be from Holiday Foliage Messages. And I'm taping down the Snowflake pattern stencil on top of this. I'm going to use some hero paste to create texture through this stencil while protecting that area for the sentiment from the embossing paste. So you just get a little bit of the embossing paste on your little palette knife. I love that these are metal. I feel like you get a cleaner result with metal. You can see how smoothly this is going down. I feel like that thin, sharp edge gives me an advantage when I'm working with a thicker paste like this. Now you do want to go right up against that taped edge just so that it's obvious that there's a gap there for the sentiment. It gives it kind of a crisp look. And then I will remove the stencil and then also remember to remove the tape so that the other snowflakes can dry and you won't be tearing little pieces of them off when you remove the tape. So I have another one that's dry, most of the way dry. I let it dry for about 30 minutes, but just to give myself a little bit of insurance, I'm also going to heat that just a little bit to make sure that it's as dry as it can be. You can always just wait. Next, I will add a little bit of water. I'm going to mist it with my mister first, just to kind of get the ball rolling. I'll be adding more water here in a minute, but I like to put down a layer of water just to help the watercolor move. So I'm using purple and Deep Ocean. This will be a mostly blue card, but I wanted that little bit of purple in there. So now I will help move that along with my spray bottle again. Wherever I spray, the watercolor will follow. And you can see that little bit of purple down in the bottom. It's so pretty. I think I'm going to add a little bit more just to give it that violet feel in areas. So you can let it run back and forth until you feel like the pigment has sort of settled into that design everywhere where you want it. And when that's done, I am going to heat that up again so that I can stamp my sentiment and carry on with the other mixed media that I'll be doing. It's important not to put too much heat onto mediums like this unless you're deliberately trying to bubble them. So I'm sort of keeping my heat gun a little bit farther away, not overheating it, because on this card, I don't want the bubbled effect. You can get some really fun effects of bubbling things with the heat gun, but that's not what I'm going for here. So you can see I have that nice little area that's left open for my sentiment. So I will grab my Misty and we will stamp. I don't know if y'all have seen these new turquoise Misties, but I just love that. Now everything will be blue, even my tools. I love it. So I found a sentiment in this set that was exactly the size of the opening that I wanted to leave in this mixed media card. It fits just perfectly. This sentiment set has like little images attached to the scripty sentiments, and so it's a very fun holiday, kind of festive feeling sentiment set. Now I'm using the Intense Black ink to stamp this a couple of times. This is watercolor paper, and so the reason that I didn't emboss this is that watercolor paper has a little bit of texture to it, and I wanted to make sure that I could get a good crisp sentiment, and you can see the little holly berries that are sticking out of the words. It's so cute. So now we will, there you can see how crisp that is. Now we will add 2 other mediums to finish this card. First will be the Hero Pearls, which I will splatter all over the card, and then I'll add some gold Hero Wax to add a complementary color, because you know that I like to have complementary colors in my cards. I think it just makes everything pop a little bit. So I will squeeze out a little bit of Hero Pearls. Now, this was actually the first time that I was doing this when I was filming this video. And so I actually underestimated the amount of water that I needed the first time. So make sure that you put enough water with the Hero Pearls because they are a thicker medium. So here I'll come back and add just a little more pearls and a little more water until I get the consistency right. Just play with it until it does what you want. You can always test on a scrap piece of paper to make sure that you're getting the viscosity that you want for your splattering. So this is perfect. It ends up looking like snow. And I just love the way that it looks because it has that little bit of shimmer. So even though my snowflakes aren't white, I still have some sparkly white in the background. It has like a pearly finish that I just love. Now, I masked the sentiment area for this just so that I wouldn't get any white in the area of the sentiment. And if I had been really smart, I would have just waited for this to dry, waited for the pearls to dry. But, you know, you're not always thinking about that. You're just like, I just want to craft. So I'm actually going to kind of work around the wet areas of the background to apply the wax. So here you can see it close up. You can also see a close up of the watercolor underneath my fingernails. This is the fun of mixed media. Don't let that put you off. You can always wear gloves, but I'm not a gloves kind of person. So now I have a little bit of the wax on my finger. And like I said, I'm just going to avoid those wet areas and I'm going to apply little pops of gold to some of these snowflakes. And instantly you can see what a big impact this makes on this all over monochromatic card. Just a little pop of a complementary makes such a huge difference in your design. So you don't need much. And it doesn't need to be evenly applied all the way across the card. As a matter of fact, the intrigue to your eye is actually created with somewhat of that random pattern all around the card. So I like to try not to think about it too much. So here's the finished card. Head over to the Hero Arts blog for more information on how I put this together. And thanks so much for watching.